What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Shawn, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we're continuing our journey as we rank album by album the songs on Beatles records, and today we're up to number 4, fourth Beatles record, Beatles for Sale.
Yeah, we are. As you said, fourth album released in December of 1964, but the fourth album released, Trey, within a 21-month period. They started recording it just a month after A Hard Day's Night came out in August of 1964. It did spend 11 weeks at number 1 in the UK. It wasn't released in the US until 1987, but 8 of the tracks appeared on Beatles 65 in North America. So if you're from North America, you might be familiar with these songs more from that album than from this one. Once again, just like our previous album, A Hard Day's Night, Lennon dominates the songwriting and the singing. They hardly ever wrote together by this point, but they would contribute little parts of songs, which later on it was just basically solo writing. But one of the biographers of the Beatles said this was because Paul was a little sidetracked with his relationship with Jane Asher.
Right.
George Martin starts to let up a little bit on his control, and the record company lets up a little bit on control. Kind of lets him do a lot of whatever they kind of wanted to. Now the big issue here, only 8 originals because they were coming in, I mean, like I said, fourth album in 21 months. They're coming in like the day of or late at night to record after they just done a concert or a TV appearance. It was literally just like, let's see what we can throw down. And I think it shows.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost a step back. You know, with the Beatles, it was littered with covers. Then we go to A Hard Day's Night,
which was,
and then now we take a step back before we kind of continue on the great streak with Help, which comes after this. But if you want to learn more about the individual songs, we did a track by track review of this, which you can find after you watch this. But I guess we'll get into it as always. This is just our opinion here, and we'll just kind of take it one at a time, starting at number 14. I think this is going to be at the bottom of most people's list. It's regularly cited as one of the worst Beatles songs of all time. So for me, number 14, I got the Lennon-led vocal and the cover of Mr. Moonlight.
That's what I knew you were going to say. I figured you were.
Is that yours?
Yeah, but I had a 4-way almost tie for last. Each member had a contribution for me towards the last place. But yeah, it's one of the covers originally written by Roy Lee Johnson. They've been performing it for years. And actually didn't dislike this song. He actually liked the fact that it was different and all that good stuff.
Well, you have like a conga in there, an African drum. It's got some weird textures in here, and you have Lennon going with almost like a ghastly like vocal, and it just comes together and doesn't mix well. We'll say.
I don't dislike it as much as I remembered I did, but yeah, and a lot of biographers also say this is the album. This song they point to in particular, even though it's not very good, with a different instrumentation, where the band started transitioning from the studio as a workshop to a laboratory. And boy, hang around with this for a couple hours after this, and it's really going to get that way. But yeah, that's my 14 as well. My 13, there was a lot of battle here, Trey, but then I heard Mr. Harrison calling me, and he said, everybody's trying to be my baby. And I said, you know what, George, I understand that. That's probably true. But for me, it's not a bad song. It's country influence. It's okay.
A bit of that rockabilly type of feel.
Sure.
I have it a couple spots more up. But like you were saying,
I could have moved these around.
The bottom here is pretty close.
Now, the only thing one of the things I do like, because I don't dislike this song.
Yeah.
They used the Steed effect for the first time on here, which is a vocal treatment, just a weird type of thing. So if you know that's on there now listen to it. Harrison's voice sounds pretty odd.
And he really kind of takes not only with the vocals, but obviously in the lead guitar. He doesn't really have any harmonizing help here.
No,
so
the instrumentation is tight, though. That is what I put on this. The vocals are...
That's why I had it a couple spots higher than my next track, number 13. For me is Honey Don't, the Ringo Starr one contribution for this record here. And I kind of ironically like this song just for some of the little one-liners that Ringo has to say. Rock on, George, for me one time.
Yeah, that was great, man.
But as a song itself, it's just so plotting and drawn out that I couldn't in good conscience put it any higher than 13.
Okay, so it's going to be shocking to you. I actually have it at 11.
Oh, there you go.
Just for those 2 one-liners. I can just picture Ringo. He's taking this all serious. I'm like, dude, this song is not good. But, the George do it for me one time. Rock on, George, for Ringo one time. That's what he says the second time. So for me, that's got to be that is also another Carl Perkins. So that's your 13. That's my 11. So number 12, Trey, I've been to this place several times.
Okay.
I've been to this place several times. Nice city, but Kansas City. Hey, 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 hey from Paul. I'll tell you what. He sounds really good, though. It's very impressive. Let me put it that way. It's very impressive that he can sing this way. We do have George Martin here on the piano. It's okay. I mean, like I said, I am impressed with his vocal, and I don't like the song.
I have it a couple spots higher than you. I actually enjoyed it more, kind of on a re-listen.
So did I.
Have
but
it
still only clocked in 12.
really high or anything, but you kind of get a little bit of that fiery, Little Richard-esque vocal from Paul.
I mean,
and here,
Paul could sing, man.
I prefer the Kansas City portion as opposed to the hey, hey, hey. But
I do too.
It is a bit kind of cool that they did a little medley here. And anytime George Martin hops on the piano, it's a good time. And the piano was quite incessant. On my number 12, I have Rock and Roll Music, the Chuck Berry cover here. Nothing, just straight up awful about this, but it is just a bit in your face. It's tough because I think the the Chuck Berry version is just so much better than this version. It's in the list of greatest songs of all time, multiple publications. But Beatles tried their hand at it, and they did a fine enough job, but nothing to get
So this is your 12. This is the thing, guys. There's 14 tracks. Wait till we do the White Album with 30 of them. So for me, it was number 9. So let's go ahead and cover it now. Then I'll rewind on my list. But it could have went anywhere. There's a lot of these songs, but I thought it was a step above my bottom 4, just because of Lennon's power and his vocals. Again, they've been singing this since early Hamburg days. A few of these they had because they didn't have any time, right?
That's
so
right. You gotta what you're familiar with.
I wouldn't argue with it there. So that was your 12. I already said my 12. My 11's Honey Don't. So now what's your 11?
My 11's Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, and then my 10 is Kansas City, Hey, Hey, Hey.
Well, my 10 is Words of Love. Lennon and McCartney. And I do like this song. You could talk me into this being a lot higher. Originally a Buddy Holly song. The Buddy Holly song is only a minute, like 40-something seconds. Just the Buddy version's better. They play it right down the middle. They don't try to change it up. They love Buddy. Still a good song. They sound really good together. I mean, I don't have anything disparaging to say about it.
No, that's that's your 10. That's my number 9, Words of Love.
Okay.
So you notice all these covers are kind of...
Yeah, they're just going to sit in this area, and you can move them around however you want. Don't believe me a comment. I can't believe you got Words of Love at 10. Believe it, my man.
And, it is kind of cool to see the different influences that the Beatles had, going they at least chose some good songs to cover with rock and roll music and Words of Love here. And it's got that very, kind of pleasant melody in here. The vocals are, quite soothing, I guess you could say. I'm with you. I think the Buddy Holly version is a step above, but, still a fine job by the lads.
So we've got 9 through 14 knocked out. And
That's
I think
right.
we got the same songs in there?
Yep.
It's just they're in a little different order. So my number 8 is an odd one in the Beatles catalog. Every little thing, it's odd because it's Lennon with McCartney. McCartney's singing with Lennon on the choruses, and McCartney hits the high harmony on the choruses. But it's mixed to where John is more prominent. So it's called Lennon with McCartney. So Lennon gets the lead vocals, but Paul wrote the song. You hardly ever get that. I like it a lot. I really don't have anything bad to say about it again. It's just something's got to be number 8. And the instrumentation's nice.
I have it at 7, so I'll touch on it now. Uniquely enough, the prog rock group Yes actually covered this, and switched it up a little bit, and has played it live numerous times. So just a little trivia note there. The love-tinged nature of the track is again pretty pleasant. Lacks a little bit of passion for me to put it any higher on the list. That's my kind of one criticism of it, but a lovely little Beatles tune. And going back now to my number 8, I have I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. Lennon coming in here with a bit of a almost like a country
baby,
country twinge vibe on here. We have some folk influences, obviously country, obviously the just rockabilly. So there's a lot of varying styles that we have on this record, and here you got Ringo showing out on the tambourine, and George lays down some pretty solid guitar licks himself.
Okay, and you had that at 8. I have it coming up in just a couple spots. I don't really have anything to add to it. I have it at number 6. I'll mention again at 6. I mean, it could have went anywhere in there. It fits the somber tone more so of the first 3 tracks.
That's right.
Would have worked better right after that. But my number 7 is I'll Follow the Sun. I really like this song. Paul wrote it when he was 16 years old, and they said later on the only reason why it ended up on the album is because they needed songs, so they pulled it back out, which surprised me because I think it's a really good song. For lack of a better word, just a sweet little tune, man. So I enjoy it.
I have it higher up, so I'll save it in. And so, yeah, my number 7, as we already talked about, was Every Little Thing. So I guess you can hit up your number 6.
My 6 is I Don't Want to Spoil the Party.
That's right.
So back to you.
My number 6, we're going back to Lennon here. Adds he gets a bit more, we kind of hinted at it, talking about A Hard Day's Night, getting a little more mature in his lyricism. And now we got Babies in Black, kind of leaning into a little bit more of that sad nature. Not everything here for the Beatles is now all lovey-dovey, everything's gonna work out type of thing. Babies in Black and I'm Feeling Blue here. Really enjoy the chorus, and here's where we get a little bit of that kind of folk rock blend, I guess you could say.
For sure.
And you have a decent Lennon and McCartney harmony here, a bit weaker lyrically than I remembered, and that's why it's behind some of the other Lennon tunes that we have remaining.
It was weaker for me as well, but it's going to be much higher for me, but it was not as good as I remembered it being. But it's credit to Lennon and McCartney. It's one of the last ones where they sang into the same mic. They wanted this twanging lead guitar solo for Harrison. George Martin objects, but he lets them do it anyway. So it's one of those examples of, they're starting to gain more control.
Getting that control and creative influence.
So that's going to come up later for me. So I guess we're up to my number 5. And I've got What You're Doing from McCartney. You could talk me into putting this, higher for sure. Really enjoyed it.
Great track.
George's 12 string is tremendous. The drumming, the soundscape's nice. Just Paul sounds really good on this one. I really did enjoy it.
No, I got that higher myself as well, man. I gave Paul some love on this one. My number 5, top 5, get ready, people. I'm going with another Lennon track here. I got I'm a Loser coming in at number 5, which, judging by your facial expression, Dad, I feel you have that probably in the top 3.
5's good, though.
Again, we see that furthering, out of the instrumentation, tambourine, yet again, which I think we got to highlight Ringo's performance just all across the record, man, playing a lot of different instruments on here. And then, you have that harmonica kind of in the middle of the track here as well. And again, just don't want to beat a dead horse, but that maturing of the lyricism here by John coming in that we could see further in the title track, a Help, and the next album too.
Right, I agree.
Coming through.
Yeah, I'm gonna save. I want to save a little drum. I'm gonna save that. So what do you got at number 4?
So my number 4 is I'll Follow the Sun, which you already had.
Okay.
And this is one I really has grown on me over time.
That's good. I'm glad. I think I like it more than you, but I have it at 7. You have it at 4, so maybe not.
And I think that the melody here, you just again that sense of melody that Paul has, and to see him develop that from the early days. Now we're going through, and we know what's to come. It's just a gorgeous track and just such a sweet vocal performance by Paul here. One of his best, I think. And it's probably one of the more underrated Beatles tunes, actually, because you don't really ever hear people talk about it.
I agree. I wholeheartely agree with that. My number 4 is a song that neither McCartney or Lennon liked, which seems insane to me. 8 Days a Week.
Ah, yes.
It's credited Lennon with McCartney. I love this song, man. All of it works, from the vocals to the hand claps.
The fade in.
The fade in, which is the first time there's ever a fade in on a rock album. So, yeah, I love this song.
No, I got this higher as well, so I'll kind of. It seems we have a lot of the top 6 were the same. They're just in different order. Now we're up to the top 3. My number 3 is a song you already touched on, another Paul track, What You're Doing, and this is another one that has grown on me quite a bit. It's a bit of a unique record in the sense that the bottom half is really towards kind of the bottom, I think, of the Beatles catalog, and yet at the top half there's still kind of some underrated gems in here, and I think this is one of those tunes. You have the 12-string guitar in here. Here we go into kind of that almost jangle pop type of genre, and love the guitar work on here. And yet again, Paul's vocal performance is just so smooth and inviting.
Fantastic. Yeah. My number 3 I already covered, Babies in Black. So now we're up to number 2.
Ooh.
My number 2. You haven't got my number 1 yet, so I think I might know what your number 1 is. It might not be the same, but I've got I'm a Loser at number 2. The harmony on the start, I'm a Loser, repeated twice straight, draws you right in. Good drumming, got that harmonica hammering it out on the instrumental with the nice George guitar. Lennon talked about later, it's one of the first songs to directly show the influence of Dylan. Because on this album, he said that this is where Dylan, because they'd met by now, and country music, those are 2 things that they cited as a lot of influence on this album when you read interviews. And later on, Paul, of course, looked at this song, saying one of the few songs, where John started to get into that cry for help, which obviously the lead track of the next album is going to let us know. But that's my number 2. Trey, what do you got? Is it possible we have the same number 1? I don't think so, but what's your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2 is No Reply.
Boy, that is the wrong answer, obviously.
Hey, man. You got it at 1. I'm taking it. So,
that's all that's left.
Well, it's a wonderful tune, man. Again, that double tracking technique in the studio was very well used here.
Yeah.
I think the McCartney harmony that comes in is fantastic. And yet again, kind of an opener to the record, showing how great they were at starting the album off with a bang, man, and it's just a lovely tune. So I'll let you talk about it since it's your top spot.
Numero uno. Yeah, one of the interesting things, they did the demo and they passed it to Tommy Quickly, who was a singer who Beatles manager Brian Epstein was in charge of, but they didn't have enough songs, so he hadn't recorded yet, so they took it back. One of the things I like about it, the way to start the album, is it just starts with John singing.
Yeah.
There's no
You're
instrumental
just right away.
Intro. It's just right there. Lennon intended to sing the higher harmony part, as this was the original melody. However, his voice had deteriorated due to excessive use, forcing McCartney to sing that part, which it's kind of like ironic, right? He hands that part to Paul because Paul wasn't doing as much, and John's voice had burned out. But
in a it's one of those kind of weird things that I think it actually heightens the song and makes it better.
Yeah. And there's so much power in I Nearly Died. Like when he's singing, you just feel him just screaming that.
Kind of elongates the I nearly died. Yeah.
Ringo drumming's fantastic. But, I see why you have what you have at number 1, too. I mean, I think of this song highly.
Oh, yeah, man. It's a great tune. And my number 1, 8 days a week. And it's always been puzzling to me how John in particular thought it was lousy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's just a wonderful tune from that fade. And then we talked about the hand claps, the John and Paul harmonies coming in together.
There's some similarities to We Can Work It Out.
That's a
song
that's
I
a
really,
good observation.
Really enjoy. So even though I have this song at 4, you could talk me into putting it at 1. Like there's a lot of movement here.
And, it's a tune that I've always enjoyed. I think it was one of the first Beatles songs I heard, as a kid or whatever. And, that might be, some nostalgia coming in through as well on the rating. But it's a song that I could listen to at any time. Quite uplifting, has that fun and just kind of innocence to it. And,
sure.
I'll always dig it. So that's my 1. And that's our list, people.
That's our list. And, we always like to go back when we first did this, and as Trey mentioned at the start, go back and look. We have a track-by-track review of this album, of every album of the Beatles. I originally rated this a 7.5. I was on that Beatles high, ladies and gentlemen. No drugs involved. Right now, it's not a 7.5. It's a 6.5. I had to go back and really compare it with the Beatles. I did that earlier today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's still a notch. It's just a little bit ahead of With the Beatles for me. Not a lot, but it is still ahead. So it's not their worst album, but it's a 6.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I echo a lot of your thoughts. I'm kind of at a 6 for me as well.
Is it better than With the Beatles for you?
I think it's
even. I mean,
I think it's just still a hair better, just as we kind of evolve a little bit in the instrumentation and the lyrical content for the original songs. At least this is one where you, I think, really could have been elevated had obviously they had time to put some more originals on here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a product of, look, guys, we got to get an album, right? I mean, so what they did is, what they produced is still fantastic. And so if you're joining us live, you've already seen the link up there, but we do a live Q&A on YouTube right after this for about 20 minutes. Then we're going to head over to Twitch. Link is below. Follow us on Twitch. We'll have a live listening party of this album.
That's
and just
right.
hang out for a while. We do a lot of stuff on Twitch, so give us a follow there. And boys and girls, we made it, Trey. We 4 did. Preliminaries. There's some good albums here, but boy, we're about to get to some heat.
Yeah, man.
It's just going to get better and better.
I feel Help's going to be a very tough record to rank, man.
We said earlier, I think this is going to be the toughest album. This is going to be, every one of these is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It really is, because there's so many songs that are similar, whether they're just average or really, really good or great. It's like, I don't know, man.
No, it'll be a tough exercise, so be sure to come back in 2 weeks and check that out. And of course, let us know your list for Beatles for Sale down in the comments section below.
Trey, they will let us know their comments.
And we appreciate all you watching, man. And I guess until next time, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.